Hey everybody, I'm sitting here well rested near San Bernardino, California. Just an Airbnb got for the month here. Like I said, I'm out here for work, so I feel great. It's hard in the moment to realize how much the circumstances that you're in are really affecting your the way that you are, your personality, your state of mind. Now that I'm well rested and chilling out here, my head's clearer, and I've had a chance to catch up with a lot of the awesome comments and feedback and what's going on with the community while I was doing my thing. Like, I was so in the zone, I didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. So I want to take a moment to kind of reflect on the trip and summarize a few things that got me a little stuck, and what happened there toward the end. And why things are going to be different next time. So first of all, a little backstory. The truth is, I did not know I was going to be able to leave on this trip when I needed to leave. Okay, so I knew that I needed to leave Monday to have the 3 to 4 days to get here, so that I could be here in time for my work stuff. I knew that. The trouble with it was, I need the rapid charger kit to do what I need to do, right? Like, I need that 6 kilowatt rapid charger. And these 2022 bikes are still very new. And the battery pack is completely different. And one of those complete differences is the way that the rapid charger interfaces to the battery pack. There's a little accessory that's required that's part of the new model year 2022 kit. So that is one thing that I was in coordination with Zero over, leaning into them really, really hard, because I'm like, good guy, come on guys, I really want to go on this trip. I want to go to California. I want to have my bike. I need your help to do that. And I'm really, really happy to say that they were awesome with me, like communicating, this is what's going on. We need to validate the part before we're allowed to put it on the road. Like, they did it right, man. They have, they have things that they have to abide by. They're making a device that could literally kill somebody. Okay, so they have their own things that they had to abide by, but they definitely considered my needs and wishes and communicated really well throughout that process. Now, the only unfortunate thing about all of that is that stuff didn't come together until about 2 days before I left. Okay, so that was a lot of coordination with them and my dealer to get that installed. And it did not leave me barely any time to get my dual J kit installed and actually test stuff. And when I mean test, I mean I had time to plug it in the garage and make sure that it was working, sure. But I did not have time to take it in the field and actually put it to the test and abuse it. My ride up to Jacksonville was the only opportunity I had to do that, and that was literally one stop. So that's the backstory of all of that. Yeah, and so I guess going into my last trip, my last attempt, I knew my 2020 SRF and rapid charging situation like the back of my hand, right? I had tested it left and right. I took it up to the tail of the dragon. Like, I just knew how that bike behaved. This one, it was unknown. It was a big unknown at the beginning of this trip. And so I was seat of my pants just getting to know my new 2022 SRS and the new charging gear and how that all worked. So that was quite an experience. It took me a while to kind of get into the groove of that. Okay, so now I'm sure a lot of you realize that when I hit Phoenix, I was having some charging issues. The reality is I kind of experienced a minor version of that much earlier in Florida. And this is one of the reasons why my Florida time wasn't as good as I would have expected it to be. So when I was in Mariana, Florida, I was probably at about 40% charge when I distinctly heard the onboard charger, the main onboard charger. There's two. There's the one that comes with the bike stock, and then there's the rapid charger that it's installed as an upgrade. That gives you the extra 6 kilowatts, right? I distinctly heard that main charger shut down in the middle of a charge. So at first I'm like, what's going on here? It's Florida. It wasn't like hot, but it was, 80, 81, something like that. So as an engineer, I'm immediately like, maybe it's a heat thing, right? Temperature. So thankfully I was, the first stop I didn't really decide to do anything about this because the charger did come back on. It eventually came back on and kept going. So I didn't do anything about this. I kind of just hoped that it was some sort of fluke. But by the time I reached Defuniak Springs, I felt like I had to do something. And so what I did was, thinking it was some sort of heat issue, and I basically had a little travel fan with me, a little USB, battery powered fan that I like to just use. I'm a fan sleeper, guys. I like to sleep with a fan for some reason. So yeah, so I had one of those, and I kind of tried to put it in there and blow some air through the intake of the OEM charger. And believe it or not, it helped. After like 30 seconds of that, the charger fired back up. And so I was like, oh, great. I think I fixed it. It's heat related. I'll have to figure out if this is a bad charger or something, but I'll do that later, because I definitely wasn't putting it through anything that I would consider extreme. And the other charger was going strong. So what I did was, I was near a truck stop. I went over there and I bought a 12 volt socketed like little tornado fan, okay, to move some air through there. From that point on, Defuniak Springs, all the way to Phoenix, I used that fan and did not experience any more problems until Phoenix, okay? Like, even that fan wouldn't help in Phoenix. So I thought what I was experiencing at the time was just the overall failure of that charger. Because again, it was warm in Phoenix, but it wasn't that warm. It was 80s, mid 80s to low 80s. So I kind of got discouraged at this point. I was like, man, like, the fan solution isn't working anymore. Like, I'm literally going to have to make the rest of this trip with nothing more than 6 kilowatts of charging coming from my rapid charger. Ouch. So not going to lie, I was a little discouraged. I remember sitting there. I posted a picture of me at the campground with the sunset and the palm trees, and I was kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to beat this record now, but God, this is great. I just, to take a moment to catch my breath and be like, you know what, this not making it before this time isn't the end of the world. I can still enjoy this. So I kind of had that moment when I was at that campground, and that was in Siloam, west of Phoenix. My next stop after that was Blythe, California. Okay, so I get to Blythe, and when I was in Siloam, things were still a little warm. I could put my hand on the charger and it still felt a little warm. But when I got to Blythe, it was a cold ride. Everything was stone cold when I got there, okay? And I went to plug in the bike and charge it again, and the charger did not fire up at all. And I just got a message on my dash that said, charger disconnected. And I was like, huh. It's cold. Up to this point, I'm thinking it's some sort of thermal shutdown thing, but it's stone cold. It's not in thermal shutdown. So one of two things has either happened here. Either this charger has completely kicked the bucket, or somehow the connector is loose, the input connector. And I obviously know this bike very well, installing my kit and everything. I'm like, I owe it to myself to check that connector. It's not super easy to get to in the field, but I managed to do it. You can get that. There's that front plastic piece between basically the charger and the forks. So I was able to wrangle my Torx wrench and get it in there, get that off, and get my hands on that connector. And obviously I unplugged the bike from charging and keyed it off and everything, but I just gave that connector a good snug push. It was latched and everything, but I just wanted to try it. I gave it a firm snug push as hard as I could. I even tried to get a little screwdriver to get some leverage and just give it a firm push. Sure enough, after I did that, powered on the bike, plugged in the charger, boom, up and running. And I'm feeling very good. Not 100% yet. I still need to, I'm an engineer. I got to try things out. I got to really, really make sure before I draw any like hard conclusions. But I'm pretty sure that I fixed the problem by doing that, because it was cold for pretty much the rest of my cross-country trip. But since I've been here in California, I've done a couple of hot weather charges, and it hasn't shut down at all. And I haven't even bothered to use the fan that I bought. So I think that was it the whole time, and I'm looking back feeling like an idiot, because that was my fault. I messed with that harness when I was installing my Dual J kit, trying to get a feel for everything and making sure that it was going to fit okay and be compatible. And I pushed that thing in and clicked it, but I didn't push it in all the way. 100% my fault. I have to take that one. That's me. That's all me. The good news is I'm pretty confident I fixed it. I'm going to make sure in the next 3 weeks or so that I fixed it. I'm going to put that thing to the test, okay? So without that problem, that easily would have shaved 6 to 8 hours off my trip alone. Okay, that's how much time I lost in Florida waiting for a 6 kilowatt charge before I found the fan issue, or found the fan solution, the workaround. And I definitely lost a lot of time in Phoenix and Salome and Buckeye, Arizona, and even in Blythe, because it took me a little bit to actually get things apart. So easily 6 to 8 hours, maybe even a little more, to be honest. So yeah, that issue's behind me. So I guess another thing that I wanted to comment on was just the community involvement. Like I said, I didn't have a chance to keep up very much, but every time I opened Blue Lane to poke in a picture of where I was shocked by how many people were watching. I was just shocked. And I cannot tell you how much of a motivating factor that was, because it was like, it motivated me to not want to screw up, not miss an exit, though that still happens sometimes, or miss a turn, because people are going to notice. People are noticing that stuff. It made me just want to keep going, especially in the toughest moments. And I'll probably talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, so I just, very, very positive comments the whole way. Not all of it was positive. You guys know about that more than I do at this point. So I wish that wasn't a situation. But for the most part, it's one of those situations where the good outweighs the bad. And one example of that is I bumped into 2 people in person on this trip because they were tracking me and they knew where to find me. Okay, and I can't tell you how unnerving it is to be in Blythe, California, and hear somebody shouting your name from behind you. It's like, who the hell knows me in Blythe, California? But it's just so cool. Like, I did not realize people would tune in that closely and were such a fan of what was happening that they just wanted to stop and meet me, catch up with me. I don't even know how far he came, but that's so cool. Thank you guys for that, and thanks for the awesome positive comments and the, go get him, Scott, and like all that. Like, it's just so super, super helpful. The next thing I wanted to talk about is why I'm going to succeed next time. When I think about this time, the thought that I have that makes me smile is I had it. And some people might think that that's like a down thing. Oh, I had it and I lost it. Oh, that's not how I feel. I'm like, I actually had it. I looking back and how I hadn't had any time to test the charging capabilities of the bike, yet I was actually on track to beat the record especially when I was having good run in, Texas, New Mexico and all that, despite the weather and the wind. I just look back and I'm like, I had it. That's awesome. I didn't know I was going to be able to do that. I wasn't confident. So the fact that I did all that without that experience that I really would have preferred to have, testing and whatnot, I had it. So that was super cool. If it weren't for that charging issue at the end, I would have got that. I would have definitely made very efficient hops and stops for that last bit into Oceanside. So why will I succeed next time? I have a solid route now, absolutely solid route. A lot of you noticed that I changed my route a little bit from last time. And the reason for that is because my last route was about 2,600 miles. I wanted to shave down the miles, okay? So I figured out a new route where I could do that. And I also, this time I was more inclined to use the freeway, still not 100%. There were still parts where I felt like it was better for me to take like this path here, for several reasons. I can make the longer distance with less charge, or, take this shortcut or whatever, or not follow the freeway that way. Like, I had lots of reasons for the ways that I went. It's hard to talk about the details of them, but I always have a reason for every place that I picked. So looking back now though, there's always the 3 or 4 or 5 stops that are very challenging because they've got like sketchy campgrounds or whatever that I might need to rely on or whatever. But on this trip, I realized that on about 3 or 4 of those, I found a much better solution. I know exactly where to go next time. I know exactly who to talk to. I knew exactly what to do. I'm definitely going to find 12 kilowatt charge stops in those areas. Not all of them, but most of them. And for the others, I can plan around it. Okay, so route is down, all right? I know the bike now. I learned it by the seat of my pants. I know how far she can go on the freeway. I know how much she gets impacted by high wind environments. I know how the charging behaves now. I didn't know that before I left. I know exactly how it behaves now. I know what my optimum, SOC is for charge time versus range, and I know how to play that game now. You guys could see that toward the end when I was really catching up. So now I'm going to apply those expertise to the entire trip and revisit my route just to make sure that I'm good and that I'm making the best of my charge time and the best of my ride time. I know how to manage my sleep now, okay? I set out on this trip planning on stopping to sleep for probably 3 or 4 hours a night. But when I started having problems early on in Florida with the charger heat thing that I thought it was, rather the charger connection issue, I realized that original plan was out the door. Like, I got to make up some time. I'll figure this out. Okay, so then about halfway through the route, I started employing this just charge nap schedule. Plug in, charge, do my social media post, picture in blue lane, one of these updates, and then open up the click chair, sit down, put my hands in my pockets, cross my arms, whatever I needed to do to get comfortable, lean up against a post or something or a wall, out. 30 to 45 minutes. Set an alarm on my phone so that it wakes me up when I was at my intended SOC. So I really got into the groove with that towards the end, and it was a lifesaver. So it kept me alert. It kept me awake and focused and doing what I needed to do. So if I had deployed that schedule earlier on in my trip, I'm going to rock it because I feel like I could definitely sustain with that level of sleep, just basically napping at each charge stop. So easy. So that's it. I mean, those things combined, I know I can knock a huge chunk of time off of what I did. So I came in at 98 hours and some small change, 10 minutes, something like that. But I think that if I can deploy these new things that I've learned, the fix, the sleep strategy, the new charge stops that I've discovered along the way, and not having to waste time to do that, and there's always an element of luck, good weather, and having charge stops available and open when I need them. So those are the things that I can't control, unfortunately. But so I'm going to have rely on luck for some of those things. But I think if that all works out, I could have a sub 90 time, realistically. So I'm looking forward to giving it another shot while the information is still fresh. All right. And so the last thing I wanted to end on is something my wife just asked me about an hour ago. And it's just one of those things that kind of hits you out of left field and invokes emotions that you didn't really know were there. And so, did I have fun? My answer to her was yes, but it's complicated. Yes, but it's complicated. And the reason why it's complicated is when I'm doing it, there are definitely moments where I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I am one with this bike. We are together on this trip. Everything that I need to survive and get through this is on the back of this bike with me. I am one with this bike. And here we are pushing each other to the limits. I might need to make an 80-mile hop, and I get on the bike after charging or whatever, and it says I've got 78 miles of range. But I know that if I'd make adjustments to my speed and whatever, that I'm going to make it. Okay, like I know how to make that work. I know how to throttle it back when I need to. I know how to push it when I need to. That aspect of it is challenging and fun, and it engages me. It engages my mind because that's the kind of person I am. I love a good challenge, and I love a good challenge that requires very unique skills and talent to achieve. And I've done that. I've done this long distance thing enough on those bikes to know what to do and how to behave, how to squeeze 120 miles out of a ride. Yeah, I'm putting down the road a bit some places, but that part is fun to me. It's just very engaging and challenging. But I got to be honest and say there's parts of the ride where I was not having fun. Okay, going through the mountains of Arizona, Globe, and stuff like that in the middle of the night. I wouldn't wish that misery upon anybody. being like slightly sleep deprived and just cold. Honestly, the things that keep me going in that moment are people like you guys, because the thought that's going through my mind is that people are watching me, people are counting on me, and I told them that I was going to do something. I am going to Oceanside as fast as I possibly can. I do not want to let you guys down. I do not want to let myself down. I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let my family down. I don't want to let anybody down, okay? So in those moments where I'm just cold and miserable, I kind of just, I know what to do. It's weird, but I kind of like huff to myself. I'm kind of like, and there's a little bit of self-talk going on too. It's like, you got this. You can do this. 40 more miles. Suck it up, Buttercup. You can do this. So that, like, there's a lot of that going on. In fact, there's so much of that going on. I'm a little hoarse because of it, but you got to do what you got to do to get through the tough situations in your life. And I can't tell anybody how to do that for themselves, but I know how to do it for me. Okay. And so that's what it is for me. Knowing that people are counting on me, reading their comments, seeing what they have to say, and knowing that I promised I was going to do something and following through on that promise. That is all I need to get through moments like that, okay? Nothing is going to stop me. So, did I have fun? Yes. Did I have moments where I wasn't having fun? Absolutely. Yeah, there was times where maybe I thought, I dying right now would be probably nice. But I will say that it was just awesome. The challenges, getting through them, the fun, just knowing that I can push the bike to its limits and come out the other end successful. And the part that's really hard to explain unless you do this someday yourself is just how beautiful this country is. And when you get a chance to see those random places, especially the places that are just off the interstate, like by far my most memorable leg of the journey was going through New Mexico this time. Artesia, New Mexico, going before that, and then out of that, it was stunning. Being in these open fields, sun's going down. Weird because I'm surrounded by so many oil well heads that they're as far as the eye can see. And you can smell the oil in the air, and I'm looking around and there's like businesses dedicated to oil pumps, like Johnny's Oil Pump Seal Company, Inc. So, and then getting into the mountains there, it was called the Cool Pines RV Resort. Those people were so freaking nice to me. I called ahead and I was like, hey, do you have any 50 amp RV places available? Yeah, of course. What night do you want to stay? I'm like, actually, I don't want to stay a night. I just want to charge. No, that's cool. We'll just pay us the electricity rate. We'll read the meter before and after, and boom, you're done. Cool. Do you have two of those next to each other by chance? Yeah, we do. Okay, cool. Can I use both? Same amount of power, twice as fast. Yeah, sure. Get there, it's cold, super cold, and I'm thinking, man, if I have to sit here and wait by my bike, I've done it before, but I'll be miserable. But the guy's like, cool, you're all hooked up. Now there's an activity center right over here. There's a fire going for you. Got some hot chocolate going for you. There's a TV there if you don't want to watch some TV or just lay down and take a nap. You do what you want, man. You make yourself at home. I was almost in tears. I was so happy, like just sitting by that warm fire just for an hour and just soaking it up, taking a good nap, having some hot chocolate. Yeah, absolutely my best moment of the trip, but stunning. It was just one of those areas that just made me realize why I do this. That exploration side of me, I want to find these random places like this and say to myself, God, I wish I could come back here someday, bring my family, and show them what I found, what I see, what this place is like. So amazing. The trip was amazing for all of those reasons. So, and yeah, by far, just looking back, the community engagement is one of the coolest things to come back from. People sending me good wishes along the way and just thanks afterwards. It just made me realize, like, there's people out there that care about this as much as I do. And for some reason that surprises me, but that's the way I feel. So with that, I just want to say thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the positive comments. Thanks for giving me the motivation to get through this, whether you realized that you were doing that or not. And, you know, for the people that were there when I arrived in Oceanside, thanks for the warm greeting. Thanks for the escort in, and thanks for breakfast. That was awesome. I can't tell you how good it is to eat something after a trip like that, after eating nothing more than whatever you can get your hands on at the local gas station or, you know, McDonald's or something. So yeah, thank you guys, and stay tuned. There will be more excitement in the near future. So with that, I'm going to sign off and enjoy my time here. I might post some stuff while I'm here, but I intend to catch up with some of the SoCal guys while I'm out here. I really do want to make a trip up north, PCH. I feel some PCH in me. I want to get some PCH and hit those mountains north of Santa Cruz, Highway 9. I missed that. I want to see that again. So I'll be around. If you guys are around here, hit me up. Maybe we can meet up. So aside from that, I'm just going to enjoy it. And I'm going to kick some ass here and get some work done while I'm here. And yeah, enjoy my time. So bye, guys. Thank you. We'll catch you next time.